Cattlemen and women often face an onslaught of rules and regulations that can impact their day-to-day work. Here to talk about this issue is Jennifer Houston, NCBA Policy Division Chair and a Tennessee cattle producer, along with Scott Yager. He's NCBA's Environmental Counsel. Thank you guys for coming and helping us celebrate 500 shows tonight.
Thank you for having us. That's a great accomplishment.
You know, Jennifer, I wanted to ask you, we know that cattle producers are some of the best environmental stewards, and Senator Dane said the same thing on this show just moments ago. But it seems like sometimes we're the first ones to get regulated. What can NCBA do to make certain that we are not burdened by this regulatory onslaught?
Well, you're right, Kevin. Cattlemen and cattlewomen across the U.S. are the original stewards of our environment. But having NCBA here in Washington, D.C., each and every day working for us, fighting us, allows us a seat at the table with our regulatory agencies, both before regulations are written and then as they're being propagated. But if, in fact, these regulations become overburdensome or unnecessarily costly, then we fight back through the court systems like we did with the Waters of the U.S. lawsuit.
You know, now that Donald Trump has been elected president, he talked a lot in his campaign about regulations and rolling back regulation. What's your read on what this means to the cattle producers?
Well, we're very hopeful that a Trump administration means an atmosphere of less regulation, less government overreach, which in the last few years has really infringed upon our property rights as U.S. cattlemen across the nation.
And Scott, you know, Jennifer talked about what might be done from a regulatory environment. Certainly the Supreme Court has a say in all that as well. What's your sense of what we're looking at going forward with the Supreme Court?
So we had a big champion for private property rights in the Supreme Court with Justice Scalia. And he passed away last year, and he left a big hole on that Supreme Court, and which leaves us with an 8-justice court, which is divided ideologically between conservatism and liberalism. And that makes it really difficult to get things done and have decisions made. But the news here is that the new administration, the new president, will have an opportunity to nominate a new Supreme Court justice to fill that role. And then the U.S. Senate will either confirm that person or deny them. And that 9th Supreme Court justice is going to be a big deal. He's going to be the tiebreaker for a lot of controversial issues and cases that we'll see coming into the future.
What are some of the specific regulatory issues that you see us needing to address even before the end of the year?
So the big thing coming into the end of the year is the appropriations process. The battles for a lot of policy issues and regulatory issues are going to be dealt with through this end of the year funding for the federal government. Last year, Congress got some policy riders into that omnibus package that were really good for our members. Things such as defunding for greenhouse gas reporting for livestock. And another example would be defunding of on-farm oil storage regulations for farmers. Those are things that are great for our guys. It reduces the regulatory burden a little bit, and we're going to continue to fight to try to keep those in the appropriations bills.
So you mentioned the millions of dollars that could be saved through defunding several of these policies. I guess the other question, we've talked a lot on this show, Scott, about waters of the United States. What do you perceive as the outcome and go-forward plan as it relates to the waters of the United States and the lawsuit that we're engaged in?
So there's two things. The defunding is a tool in the toolbox that we'll continue to pursue to get regulatory relief for our members. And the second part of that is, as far as the WOTUS lawsuit, it's something that we're litigating through the courts right now. The wrinkle here is that with the new Trump administration, he's made it a big campaign promise that he would rescind the WOTUS rule. So come January, we're going to be working hard to work with that new administration to make sure that he makes good on that promise. And then when that happens, we'll be able to put the lawsuit to bed and to claim victory on that issue.
That would be a big, big win for the beef cattle industry, and we appreciate you all's effort on that. Jennifer, one last question. How can producers, folks sitting at home, get involved in the policy process?
Well, you can get involved in the policy process starting at your county associations, your state association. If you have an issue that you think NCBA needs to speak up on, then just become involved. Go to your state association meeting, go to your county association meeting, because that's where all of our policy starts from, because NCBA truly is a grassroots organization that gets our marching orders straight from the farms and ranches across the nation.
Thank you both for coming to the show and adding your perspective on a couple of these very, very important issues. And good luck to you as you continue down the path with the Policy Committee, a very important committee to all of us as beef cattle producers.
Thank you.